Hi, my name is Stacey Humphreys. I'm the director of Eureka Ventures. We're a hospitality development consultancy. This basically means we help people open up their own restaurants, bars or nightclubs, or we go in and help fix them if they're not quite working properly. So 2020, I had such plans. This year we were going to launch our blog, and our blog was designed to cover different things like training and development, organisational structure, branding, marketing, how to expand your business, all those kind of things. And then, yeah, you know what happened. We got a pandemic, didn't we? So that has made my schedule become extremely busy because I was going through with all my clients, different grants, business interruption loans, insurance, furloughing of staff, all sorts of different things, which I'm sure you have been doing exactly the same as well. But I have come to realise that there is no way that I can launch a blog, but this is a really important time and I want to get information out to everybody. So I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do a vlog just to get information from me to you. So I'll be here talking straight into the camera and just relaying information off for you. So I thought for my first one, I would start with the foundation of any business, something that's really, really important, especially with the stresses that we have today, and that is you. Yep, we're going to talk about mental health because it's so important at the moment, and it's something that is partially talked about in the media and things. I mean, we talk all about physical health and symptoms and what to do with different symptoms and how we should react physically and all that kind of thing, but mental health, not so much, right? Before I start though, I am not a psychologist, I am not a counsellor, I am not a psychiatrist. I have had no training whatsoever and I do not pretend to have any training whatsoever. But I've worked in hospitality in different continents for over a couple of decades and worked with a number of different people in a number of stressful situations as well, so I kind of understand how different people can react and some of the different things and techniques that I've suggested to people to overcome some of the stress that they've encountered. So we're going to talk about that today, and I think it's really important that we start this discussion. But having said that, I'm also going to put links in regards to specialists in the subject and also any websites or help phone numbers and all that kind of thing. So if you do need further information, that information will be available for you. Okay? So stress. Stress can affect people in so many different ways, and the way that I stress will be different from the way that you stress. Just the same as how that stress manifests itself will be different between you and me as well. So for example, I sometimes get a headache if I get really, really stressed, or my brain will turn around and go, I'm going on strike. I'm not going to make any more decisions for at least half an hour. You need to give me some space. So I go away, do something else, totally non-work related, and then I come back and then my brain's like, okay, cool, thanks, and we work through things. Now the stress I'm talking about is obviously stress to do with different pressures as opposed to like other stresses that you would have got used to potentially in hospitality, because let's think about this. We have changed how we live, we've changed how we work, we've changed how we manage our staff, and the different pressures that we get have completely changed as well. So we have to completely change the way that we do things and the way that we manage our stress. Some people might not even realise that they're being stressed at the moment, but I think what you need to remember is how you react to things normally and how you react to things now. So stress can be in a number of different ways. As I said, you might sleep less or oversleep, you might eat more or eat less, you might feel depressed, you might be short-tempered, you might get the physical symptoms as well, how I said headaches or nausea or anything like that as well. And so think about how you normally are, and then think about how you are at the moment, and then you can kind of decide whether you are being affected by stress at the moment. But whether you are or not, It's really important that you don't get to the stage where you are affected by stress. Okay, so one of the things that I recommend to people is to create me time. Now, before I go into this, there's a saying that I think is really, really apt, and that is you need to put cookies in your cookie jar before you can give away the cookies. Okay, so remember that when we move through onto the rest of the talk. So creating me time, what does that mean? Make sure that you book in your me time. Make sure that it is programmed in every single day, preferably around the same time each day. This will get your brain into a habit of understanding that it has downtime and when it has the downtime. Now, why do I say book it in instead of just do it? Because I know you're going to feel guilty if you don't book it in. If you don't allow yourself and allocate yourself a certain amount of time, you will feel guilty about taking that time off to just spend it on you. And guilty me time is not me time. Okay, I'm going to say that again, just make sure you get it. Guilty me time is not me time. It is not stress-free. So book it in and make sure you take it. Now, it does a couple of different things. First of all, it just gives your brain some space. There's so much information being bombarded at it at the moment, and so many different problems that it has to process, that you just need a little bit of a time out for your brain so that it can just, chillax for a little while. Now, the other thing is, if you give some space to your brain, your subconscious brain does something rather magical. Have you ever been in a scenario where someone has asked you a question and you cannot, for the life of you, remember what the answer is, and you know that you know the answer? Yeah? Seem familiar? And then you'll walk away and you'll do something completely mundane and completely not related to the question whatsoever, and the answer comes to you, doesn't it? Exactly. That's what your subconscious brain does. If you give it space and not let the conscious brain be priority in solving a problem, then your subconscious brain will go through all your past experiences and all your knowledge and then give you the answer that you require. So just let your brain process. I promise you, even if you don't know the answer and your subconscious brain comes up with zilch, you're still going to be far more productive and far more efficient when you come back to try and sort out things. So the other side of things is there are different types of people that work in hospitality. Okay, you have the extroverts, which are most of the people in hospitality, let's face it. They are the ones that enjoy being around people. They get energized by all the socializing. They like to go out and party. They like that team spirit. They like just being around people. And that's completely been taken away from them. Lockdown has completely killed that. So they're feeling pretty isolated and lonely, and some of them might be prone to a bit of depression because they need that banter. They need to have other people in their life. And then there's other people that are quite opposite, and yes, they do exist in hospitality. They are the people that have been really energized by being in lockdown and not having loads and loads of people coming over to them and asking them questions all the time. This time has meant they've really got to focus, and they've managed to do all the little things that they don't normally get to do when they're in the venue, because in the venue they feel guilty about not being on the operations and not being on the floor and making sure the staff are okay all the time, or answering all the questions, or answering the telephone. These are the people that are now going, this is giving me space to actually do the strategy, actually do the things that I'm supposed to do in my job. Now, you need to find out, and you will know naturally, what kind of person you are. Okay? And you need to also remember that the other people in your team may not be the same kind of person as you are. So you've got to remember and cater for them as well. Okay, I found that most people that have kind of felt energized in this downtime have been the people that have been higher up in the organization, because there's so many demands on them from day to day that sometimes they don't get some of the things done that they normally want to do in the organization. And it's the people that are extroverted tend to be the people on the front line. So the people that are serving the people all the time and really in the operational day-to-day. So you've got to bear those things in mind when you treat everyone different ways. Now, the other thing is that as a owner or a director or a manager, you are more aware of what is happening with your business. You're the one that's kind of making the decisions, apart from the government, obviously. And you have your strategy, you know what money's coming in, you know how long you can sustain different things for you. You understand when you want to open up, and you understand how you could possibly move forward on things and how many staff you need to keep. The people that are your staff members, they know nothing. They know no information whatsoever. They can't make decisions on things at all. So they're sitting at home isolated when normally they're energized with all the people around, and also really unsure about what their future is going to be. Now, you can't necessarily answer all those questions all the time, but some of the people that I've worked with, they have started doing weekly emails. Now, those emails don't necessarily give a lot of information, but sometimes it's just a case of, hi, how are you doing? Just thought I'd check in. By the way, you're going to get paid next week. If you need a letter for your landlord to say that you're still employed with us and being furloughed, let me know. Can't really give you much more information at the moment, but when I can, I will let you guys know. But please let me know how you're doing. What that does is it makes the employee feel special, like you care what is happening in their life and how they are feeling. Now, I know there's so many other different priorities that you've got in your life at the moment and in regards to the business, and why is it important to keep your staff in the team environment and keep them happy and keep them healthy? Because a furloughed staff member is a staff member, and you want them ready to go. As soon as you open those doors, as soon as you've got that business ready to open and launch, you want them on board and ready to go. So you've got to put a bit of groundwork in first. So the other way that people can keep in contact is by meetings. Now, it's a very fine line at the moment, especially if you have furloughed a manager, because anyone that's been furloughed cannot generate revenue and cannot provide a service. So generating revenue is a really easy one to understand. You know, you're not selling anything, you're not generating revenue, okay? But what does providing a service mean? Well, for your managers, it can mean quite a few different things. So your managers might normally do payroll, or they might answer phones or do bookings or anything along those lines. They can't do any of that work while they're furloughed, because that is a service that they're providing. They might normally do training, but again, they can't provide that service. But they can have a meeting with all the staff as long as they only cover certain things. So you can't have a meeting talking about what the marketing strategy is going to be, or if you want people to walk around their, I don't know, local area and put things in mailboxes or anything like that. A, you can't get the staff members to do that, and B, you can't have the manager saying that to everyone, because they're providing a service, they're providing information. However, I think there's also an obligation that management and directors have in regards to their company, and this obligation is the well-being of their staff members. So for me, that isn't a service, that is an obligation that you need to provide to make sure your workforce is healthy, both physically and mentally. So what does that mean as well? Right, so you could have a meeting where you do training for the staff, but that training needs to be provided by someone who is not in furlough. So either a staff member that has not been furloughed, or it could be an external consultant that you bring in to do the training. Staff can be trained. You know, graduate schemes are still occurring. People can still be trained for different things, but a furloughed staff member cannot provide the training. So you see the distinction there. Can be trained, but cannot provide. So you can organise training if need be. But even getting a meeting without organising training is really good, because you get to talk to everyone and build that team spirit back up. You also get to answer any questions that you can possibly answer, and ask questions as well. You could tell them when they're getting paid, because pay is always critical in times like these, right? If you're about to open, you can also say, we're going to open in a couple of weeks. We'll let you know when your rotas are coming and all that kind of thing. So there are some things that you can do in a meeting setting. And when I say a meeting, I'm talking about a virtual meeting. Don't get people to come from miles around to sit in the venue that's closed at the moment. Just do it all online. That's all cool. During this time, there's been this huge expansion of virtual team building activities that are now available online. And some of the technologies that you can use for meetings also provide different games that you can do. There's different things on Zoom, there's House Party, there's Teams. I mean, there's some stuff on Skype, like you can do Hangman and stuff on Skype, but there's a wide variety of different things on the technologies you use. But there's also games available that you can purchase for really small amounts of money. So there's pub quizzes, you've got panic rooms, you've got groups of games that you can get. Some of them are quite quirky and all that kind of thing. So there's a number of ways that you can build that fun up again, that team, the banter that goes along with those kind of things, because this is what you will need to keep your team together and also ready to open. So do that. And also it's fun, it's fun for the managers. It's fun for you if you get a chance to participate as well. So please do, but communicate and keep those communication lines open so that the staff do feel like they've not been forgotten. Really, really important. And also, make sure that you don't forget about yourself. As I said, make some me time and encourage your managers to do exactly the same thing. And just to make sure that everyone is ready to go when you can go. And in my future vlogs, we will look at different strategies that you can use and different aspects of your business that you can open up, so you start creating that revenue, which is so important at the moment to cover all the rents and all that kind of thing, but that's for another discussion. Anyway, so communicate, me time, games, relaying information, all those things are really, really important. I will get this transcribed as well, so it will be along on our website. And please, under here somewhere is links to the website and everything. So, subscribe, do all the normal things. I mean, you're all pros at this anyway, so you know what you're doing. And I will keep you updated with information as it comes in. Okay, you take care, stay physically healthy and stay mentally healthy.